vlog, Handed Homemade, and today I'm so excited to be sharing with you our kitchen renovation. So much time and effort has went into this kitchen renovation. There have been many hurdles that we have jumped over, but I am so excited for it to finally be in a place that I want to share it with you. There's still a lot of things that I would love to do to this kitchen, but I wanted to talk you through what we did and share with you our before and after. So let's go ahead and jump into it. Our kitchen took the most amount of time, most amount of effort, and the most amount of money. And I'm gonna walk you through what we did from start to finish. We did everything pretty much ourselves. The only thing that we didn't do ourselves was patch the paneling. We have a family friend who does that for a living, and he did it for us at a massive discount. And so we were blessed to have that to cover up the paneling. But I'm gonna walk you through, like I said, from start to finish. So the first thing that we did was tear out all the formica. I did this one afternoon myself. There was formica from ceiling to almost floor. The countertops was covered in formica and it had to go. So I tore all of that out, and once we tore that out, we tore out the cabinets that the stove was in. So there was a long line of upper cabinets, lower cabinets, and in the middle there was the stove. The stove was sitting on some drawers that did not offer any support and quite honestly was a fire hazard. We tore all of that out because I knew I was going to want a freestanding stove and possibly put a microwave above it, which is what we did. So after we tore all of that out, I also had my dad and my husband tear out the cabinets above the stove eyes. The stove eyes did not fit into the counters, and like I said, I knew that I wanted a freestanding stove and we did not need the vent above it. So we tore out the vent, we patched the hole, and that is where my floating shelves are now. So after we tore everything out, my dad and my father-in-law went ahead and installed our microwave because the wall was not designed to hold a microwave. It needed to go in the studs because of how heavy it was, and we wanted to see if it would work. So installed the microwave, and then I had to come up with a solution of how to make it look more intentional, like it was meant to be there. It had always been there, instead of just looking like I had this massive microwave stuck on the wall. And that is why I cased it out in wood. The wood is the same type of wood that I did my floating shelves with, as well as we have some beams in the living room. I haven't done a living room reveal yet, but when I do, I will show you all of that. And so we put all of that up. Like I said, we had our paneling patched. We painted the walls Swiss Coffee by Benjamin Moore, and we painted our cabinets Chantilly Lace by Benjamin Moore. Then we moved on to the countertops. The countertops were tricky because everything in this house was built specifically for this house. So even when we took off the doors to paint them, these doors for our cabinets, none of them are the exact same size. So they are designed to go specifically with each cabinet. And so we had to be very intentional about labeling them, painting them, putting them back the way that they were supposed to. But the countertops were no different. At Lowe's, you can order standard countertops, which is what we did, but we ended up having to cut some pieces with the jigsaw to get them to fit these cabinets. So just know, if you are trying to renovate an old house, there's going to be little things like that that require a bit more work, but can be done and gives a beautiful finish. Then come the farmhouse sink, which was a whole nother thing in itself because my dad and my husband had to basically build a structural support under the sink. We didn't know if we were going to lose these bottom doors, these bottom cabinets, and luckily we didn't. I was fine with putting a curtain underneath it, but we kept it, and But like I said, on the inside of that, they had to build an extra support because the sink weighs almost 100 pounds. So they did that, and they installed my Kingston antique brass faucet. So after the farmhouse sink was installed, we did our backsplash. I used white subway tile and white grout. It was super inexpensive. I think it cost me about $25 in tiles and then maybe $5 or $6 in grout. So super easy. It took a little bit of maneuvering to make sure our lines were straight, but there's plenty of YouTube videos out there. I highly recommend installing the backsplash yourself because it's a super easy lift to your kitchen and it is really inexpensive. It's super cheap. Then we installed our floors. I will link the floors that we used down below. I think it cost us less than $1,000 to do it throughout our entire house, or less than $1,500 to install it throughout our entire house. We installed it ourselves and we love it. I absolutely love the color of it. I think it's beautiful. It's super neutral, whereas the flooring before was a very orange laminate. So really happy with that. And then everything else was just small details. The hardware is the original hardware, but I took rub and buff and buffed them to match my antique brass faucet. Then I installed these shutters. We did get new windows. We installed a new light. We did get a central unit to heat and cool the house, plus our gas that we have. And also, I kept these scallops. Let me know down below whether or not you like those. The scallops were used throughout the house. I guess whoever originally designed this house enjoyed them. And we cut them out of some of the bookcases in our other rooms just because they're very feminine. And like in one case, one of the rooms is my husband's office and he didn't really want the scallops. So let me know if you like those. I can't decide if I want to cut them out or keep them. And if you watch my last video, which I will link for you guys, you will see the shears that I'm going to be hanging up above the shutters that I got. But I still have some plans for this kitchen. I want to add some corbels under the cabinets, and then I want to box in our fridge to make it look a little more pleasing on the eyes. But I'm really happy with the way it turned out. I think it's lovely. Like I said, we did all this ourselves, and I hope this inspires you to see that you can do so much to a home on a budget, just with yourself. And so I hope you enjoy. Let me know what you think about our kitchen renovation, and I will see you next time, friends.